Yes, we're expecting, of course, our second look at second quarter GDP and initial continuing claims. Initial claims, 353,000. 353,000. Now, of course, we all remember last week at 348,000. That was a post-COVID low, so we moved a bit higher. But pretty much it's a lateral move, and it was expected. On continuing claims, always a week in arrears, 2,862,000. 2,862,000. Of course, last month, we also had the post-COVID low. We haven't challenged that. That was 2,820,000. There probably is revisions that will be coming in, but don't see them yet. As far as our second look at second quarter GDP, it was diminished by 0.1% from it increased 0.1% from 6.5 up to 6.6. Expectations were for even higher at 6.7, but 6.6 isn't bad. On the personal consumption side, these numbers are robust to say the least. 11.9, that bests our last look first time around from 11.8. But here's the Moneyball numbers, and we could have all kinds of excuses as to why we should be ignoring the GDP price index, but it's at 6.1. These are the loftiest levels since the early 80s. And if you look at core personal consumption expenditure quarter over quarter, it's at 6.1. That's the highest since 83, 38 years. So the core PCE quarter over quarter is the same at 6.1. The 6.1 on the pricing index is actually 1/10 hotter than our first look at 6.0. So hot on prices. GDP, slight improvement. And on jobless claims, largely as expected, we see a 1.35% 10-year, the bottom in 2012, the bottom in 2016. Pre-COVID, all-time closing low yields in 10s. We're basically in a zone from 1.36 to 1.39%. And I will continue to say that that is the level to watch. It's resistance in terms of yield. And should we pop above it and close a week above that yield range, look for definitely higher yields. And the more water cooler talk I hear about the reflation and inflation, it seems to coordinate very tightly with what's going on in the market. And, of course, what we may hear in Jackson Hole, even with the Delta variant, I have not heard so many people, Joe, so many traders, so many of my sources thinking that the Fed is going to be stepping up a little more aggressively than many think. And we all realize that, South Korea was one of the first major Asian economies to raise their rates from 0.5% to 0.75%.